Hello, it is Deborah Fryer, and today I want to talk about action. So, a couple days ago, I showed you the clematis and I told you that it was budding. This is the kind of action I'm talking about: daily, deliberate, intentional steps to creating what you want. So, check it out. Here's the bud. Look how big they are. They're totally about to pop, and when they do pop, I will share that with you because everybody knows that a bud turns into a bloom. What does this have to do with your business? Well, your business is all about you taking action. So I'm walking into my backyard and I want to show you my favorite tree. There's this really big tree. Here it is behind me. Look how gorgeous that is. And this tree is in multiple, very diverse states of action, right? So there are places where the leaves are already full on blooming, and there are other places where the leaves are just starting to spread into these little fireworks of explosion, telling us that it's getting ready to bloom. Actually, I don't know how to use the camera to show you that. How can I show you that? Maybe right here. See, you can see it's like all this bud, all this potential. And some of the leaves are already happening. And here's the thing that it took me years to realize, and I want to share it with you now so that you don't have to waste years and struggle and strain and hassle and cry and be super unhappy. I want to share with you what I am noticing. Hi, Kadrama, so much love to you. It's so great to see you here. I'm talking about nature, so of course that's why you popped on. I'm talking about the trees and what the trees can teach us about our business. So I'm sitting under this super gorgeous look up. Isn't that stunning? It's this really beautiful red maple. And what this tree has taught me is really a lot about my business. So in 2013, I went through a super deep depression. We had a flood here in Boulder. We lost a third of our house. My dad dropped dead, and my business was totally in the toilet. And I decided I was just going to quit everything. And I would sit in my office, which is facing this tree, and just cry and watch this tree. And I watched this tree drop all of its leaves. I watched them first turn beautiful yellow and orange and red, and then I watched the tree drop these leaves so gracefully, and I just cried. It was October and November and December, and I just had such an outpouring of grief as I watched all these leaves drop. And then, and this tree, when it's totally full on, like totally leafed out, is a huge shade tree, right? It's like completely, you can't even see the sky through the canopy because it's so dense with leaves. So in the winter, what I noticed when all the leaves had dropped was that so much more light could get in. And I started applying this to my business. I stopped working 24/7. I started giving myself time to rest. I gave myself a full 6 months to grieve after my dad died, and I said I wasn't going to do anything until I saw the first crocus. And that was incredibly healing. And I came back to life, and so did my business. So here's my point about the tree. I used to think, and this is how I used to run my business, was that only the blooms were beautiful and everything else I didn't even notice. And now I'm noticing, well, the buds are beautiful and the leaves are beautiful and the open space is beautiful. And when the tree is completely bare, that's part of its beauty. And when the tree is completely leafed out and dense, that's part of its beauty. And when there are squirrels and flickers and black-capped chickadees, that's its beauty. And all of it is beautiful. And what can you do in your business that would bring that same full appreciation of everything? So I'm going to get back to the word action. So the tree is constantly in action. It's constantly taking little baby steps towards what it's becoming. And that's what's happening in your business also. I know that I felt really impatient with my business, and that was kind of, the kiss of death when I was leading with impatience, because I was super desperate for clients. I was super desperate for projects, and I just exuded this energy of impatience and frustration and desperation, and that is not magnetic. People actually want to run screaming from that because it's not fun to be around. So how can you be more patient with yourself in your business? Well, one of the things that's really helped me be more patient is taking deliberate, consistent, intentional actions towards building what I want. And that way, every single day, I'm inching forward towards what I want to create. Now, y'all know that I love the etymology of words because I love seeing where things come from, because everything comes from something. And, there's a kind of theme, if you've been following me for any length of time at all, you know that I like to ask, well, why? Right? Like when I was a little kid, my nickname was the question box because I was always like, why? Where did that come from? Why is it like that? So I want to tell you about the etymology of the word action. It comes from the Latin word ago, and ago means I, do, drive, discuss, live, or spend. Ago means all those things. Ago, egere, egi, actus. So actus, it's the past participle of that, is what action is. And that word has all of these valences: do, drive, discuss, live, or spend, which is pretty cool that one word can mean all that stuff. So A, it means what are you doing? What consistent things are you doing? Not only like what are you physically doing in the world, but I would say, how are you thinking? That's something that you're doing. And the action steps that I was taking when my business was suffering, I was taking wrong action steps. My action steps were spending a lot of time in self-criticism, spending a lot of time in self-loathing, spending a lot of time in overwhelm, spending a lot of time procrastinating, and that's what I was doing. And that's not very helpful. And you can retrain your brain so that those don't even, you don't even click into those files anymore, and you click into files that when you do stuff, you do it with joy and enthusiasm and creativity and inspiration, and you just do it because it's super fun and you can't help it. So that's the do part of do, drive, discuss, live, or spend. Drive is another valence of action. So what drives you? What motivates you? It's really, really important that you get a handle on what motivates you, because if you're doing something because you think, well, people will approve of me, or people will like that, or anything outside of you, what actually is going to happen is that's going to create pressure on you. If you're looking for something outside of you for validation or approval, or even telling you what to do, right? I don't know what to do. You need to tell me what to do, kind of thing. You're going to feel pressure coming in, squishing you, and that's going to squish your soul, and your soul's going to be like, no, I don't want to do what they're telling me, and you're going to feel resentment, and then you're going to have resistance, and that's also not particularly helpful for growing a sustainable business, and it's also not that fun, and if it's not fun, why bother? So I want you to ask yourself what drives you. If your drive is in here, like, I want to save the planet. That's a big drive for me. I want to create peace, one being at a time, starting with my own self, loving all parts of me, and helping other people love all parts of themselves. And then we ripple that out to everybody we touch. And any extra money I make in my business, I reinvest in my business, and I donate the rest to environmental organizations to save the planet, because I work for her. So those are my big whys. I also want to have fun. That's a big why. I'm motivated to be in joy. I like feeling joyful. That's super fun for me. And I don't like feeling like a bitch. So when I fall into the bitchiness of myself, which is part of me, it's an opportunity to say, really, do you want to hang out here? And sometimes I might like for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm over it, because it's not that fun. It's more fun to be inspired and joyful. Okay, so that's the drive part. Do, drive, discuss. So discuss is, what's the inner conversation you're having, right? Are you constantly putting yourself down and saying, I should have done it better, I could have done it better, I'm such a moron? Just notice how you talk to yourself. And can you be more loving? Can you be more compassionate? I'm sure the answer is yes. And I know that because I'm on myself like white on rice, and I am constantly talking myself off a ledge. If I notice I'm being mean to myself, I'm like, really? Seriously? Haven't you punished yourself enough? Do you really need to beat yourself up? And then I ask myself, what else is possible? And what awesomeness about yourself are you not noticing? What's right about you that you're not giving yourself credit for? So noticing these inner conversations is super valuable. And the nicer you are to yourself when you have these inner conversations, the better you're going to feel, the more joy you're going to be in, and that's going to reflect in your business. Okay, do, drive, discuss, live. Okay, so live is another meaning of the word action. How do you want to live? And that's really a conversation about what environment do you want to live in? How do you want to live your life? What do you want to contribute to? What do you want to spend your time doing? What do you want to spend your energy learning and creating? And how do you want to interact with people? How do you want to be in the world? I mean, living is your life force. How much life force are you willing to let flow through you? Super great question, because, it's up to you to decide how much. Do, drive, discuss, live, or spend. Okay, so spend, that's part of action. That's actually contained in the root of the word action. How do you spend your time? Right? Spending isn't all about money. How do you, in fact, I would say it's less about money and it's more about these other things. How do you spend your time? Time is the most valuable thing any one of us has, and we're never going to get it back. Money comes and goes, and it leaves and it comes back. Time, you can expand time for sure. You can slow time down for sure. And that's another video. It's all about meditation. That's a really great way to slow time down. And so how do you spend your time? What do you pay attention to? Your attention, oh my gosh, that is a commodity that is rare. The brain doesn't have that many attention units. So you want to be super judicious. You want to be really deliberate and intentional about what you're paying attention to, because if you're paying attention to all manner of other people's projections and agendas and dramas and, kidja, shida, blah, 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 oh my gosh, it is just exhausting. And you don't have any time for you. You don't have any love for you and your people and what you want to create. So that's what I want to share. Do, drive, discuss, live, or spend. All of those things are contained in the root action. So how can you take action today? Meaning, what do you want to do today? What's driving you today? What's your inner conversation want to be like today? Do, drive, discuss, live. How do you want to live? How do you want to feel today? And what do you want to spend your time on? Go crush it. Have a fantastic day. And I plan to do the same. And if you haven't already, please sign up for the Master Your Money Mindset free online brain training. I will put the link down below. It's going to be super awesome. I'm in high gear right now, just wrapping up the last of the interviews. It's going to launch on May 1st, and we have 32 amazeballs speakers sharing their wisdom and their brilliance, including John Assaraf, Margaret Lynch, Kendra Thornberry, Emily Utter, Eva Gregory, Beth Davis. So many brilliant intuitives, healers, entrepreneurs, coaches, wisdom carriers of mindset. So have a fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow. Lots of love.